A very hearty welcome to each one of you. Take a few moments to settle yourself by paying attention to the body limb by limb. If you are sitting in a chair, let your feet rest on the floor in a flat position. And no matter what your position is, let the spine be naturally erect. Let there be no trace of tension in the body. This is important because if the body is without tension, it becomes possible for us to transcend the body and go beyond the body. If the body is painful or disturbed, then our attention remains inside the body and we cannot go beyond it. So give yourself the time and the opportunity to let the body settle itself in the most comfortable position. Sometimes when we let the body rest, it tends to go into sleep. So we can avoid that by being more conscious of the spine. So when we breathe in, the breath moves along the spine from the top to the bottom. And when we breathe out, it moves from the bottom to the top. But if you are sensitive and you are aware of how the prana works, then when you breathe in, the prana moves from the bottom or the base of the spine to the top of the head. Because with the incoming breath you are taking in prana, and with the outgoing breath the prana goes from the top of the head to the bottom. If you cannot feel the prana, you can rest in the awareness of the breath. If you notice the sound of the breath as it is pouring into you naturally, and moving out naturally, then the incoming breath has a sound so, and the outgoing breath has the sound hum. So hum. So hum. So hum means I am that, and I am that is the answer to the question Koham, which means who am I? And when we really investigate, as we saw in yesterday's session, who am I? We can start excluding everything that we think we are. At the grossest level, we are the body, but we are not that. There is something more subtle operating from within. We may identify with our senses that give us the experience of the outer world. But we are more subtle than that. We may identify with our mind, which gives us some idea or interpretation of who we might think we are. So the mind tells us you are a man, you are a woman, you are a husband or wife, you are a father, mother, child, a professional, a serviceman or woman, a retired person. The mind may tell you that you are useless or you are very important. No matter what the mind thinks, you are not that, because you can change your identities. If you are sitting at home in the environment of a family, you are a householder. But the moment you go out, you become a pedestrian. So you cannot be the mind, which gives you a notion of who you are. But you are much more. So then there is something more subtle, the attention that you have. We all have the tool of attention. And wherever we focus our attention, we come to know much more about that. If you see your picture before your eyes, a painting, any painting, but with attention you can see some kind of an order in the area of colors and brush strokes. A figure might emerge, and you begin to understand what the picture is trying to tell you. It is the quality of attention that can eventually lead you into the painter's mind. and give you an idea of what the painter thought. But your attention is going to be circumscribed by your intellect. And intellect is bound by karma. The scriptures say buddhi karma anusarini. The kind of intellect you have is guided by your karma. This is the tragedy of this world. People are very intelligent. They have attention. But that attention leads to entanglement because the intellect, which is the guiding force behind that attention, may be not up to the mark. This is why people read the scriptures on their own, but they are likely to miss the point. Because when we read the scriptures and we start understanding something, we may somehow become full of ego. We may start and make an attempt to prove that my scripture is the best. So no wonder all the great prophets, all the great religions have common teachings, but there is such intense hatred amongst their followers. So attention is also not good enough. So there is something more subtle which is behind the attention, and it is awareness. Awareness is that quality of ours which expands and touches various things. It notices them, but it does not judge. It does not go by the intellect. It rests in itself. When we are in awareness, we are likely to be more silent, more settled, and above all, totally non-reactive. We cannot be indoctrinated. We cannot be capitalists or communists or this or that. We rest in what is called the presence of mind. Presence of mind is normally meant to describe a person who is very clever, who finds a way out. of every situation, even those situations that he has not encountered earlier. That presence of mind actually means mind which is there fully in the present, mind that is not guided by past experiences. So when we are fully in the present, we are in awareness. And every response that is generated from within us is not colored by our past experiences or our belief systems. We are free. So it is not important as to what we do, because we are in this world, we have to take action. Action cannot be postponed. But it is important what motivates that action. If that action is motivated by our past experience or our belief system, then it is a reaction. And if that action comes out of the complete innocence of awareness, then it does not create karma. It is free. So take the time for attention to dissolve into awareness. People sometimes think that when they meditate, there should be no thought in the mind. But that is not the point. Thoughts are being generated by so many experiences from the past. These are bound to come up. But as long as we just notice them and let them go without being affected by them, we are free. So just rest in awareness if any thoughts come. You don't fight the thoughts. You let them arise. The thoughts are like waves in the ocean. Can the ocean be without waves? No. So any thought comes up, do not judge, do not be guided. Let it arise and subside. The thought of your beloved comes up, somebody whom you love dearly. The awareness just notices that. There is gratitude for the presence of the person or that thought, and it goes. The thought of a person who may have been the cause of all your troubles comes up. Awareness lets you notice that. Awareness has no sex, no role, no profession, no identity. And you begin to see that the other person also has the same awareness, but perhaps he or she is not aware of the real nature of his own or her own being. So he or she may have acted the way he or she has been acting. And when one realizes this, it becomes so easy to let go. You have been practicing forgiveness of one kind or the other. There is intention in forgiveness. There is involvement of the mind in forgiveness, but in awareness, there is complete acceptance. And true forgiveness has already happened. We are essentially free when we dive deep within ourselves and touch the level of awareness. But the moment we hand over the reins of awareness to the mind, it brings its judgment, its determinations, its preferences, choices, and the world begins. But to end the world, what we need is to go further within and get into choiceless awareness. Awareness has no choices. It does not cling to anything and it does not push anything out. It is, and it lets everything be. So just be in this state. And let your individuality melt. There was a statue made out of salt. It was very curious and wanted to know what the sea is like. Because it had heard that salt is taken out of the sea. It was a curious doll made in kind of a statue. And out of this curiosity, the doll decided to visit the sea. It was a long journey. And It was very excited. The excitement knew no bounds when it just came to the seashore and started going into the sea. And it went far out, and lo and behold, it started melting or dissolving into the sea, layer by layer. There was a sense of apprehension. It was so much used to this limited form in the doll that there was intense fear of losing its identity. At the same time, it was so happy at exploring the sea that it didn't want to go back to the shore. By and by, there came a time when the doll had dissolved completely. Nothing of that doll was left. But in the last possible moment, it realized, I am the sea. So when we go into awareness, we realize, I am this ocean of consciousness. I don't have a limited existence. I am that. So, um, so, um, so, 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 rest in the awareness of your breath and also rest in the awareness of Soham. If the sound of the breath subsides and the breath becomes very subtle, know that everything is dissolving. You are like the doll made out of salt that is becoming one with the sea. Layers and layers of identities, past experiences, good and bad, emotional dramas that bind you, everything is dissolving. There is no separation between you and any other. And offer this gift of pure awareness to everyone, whether they are the ones whom you love and like and want to cling to, or whether they are people and situations you tend to avoid or don't like. So, um, so, so, and as you remain in this state of oneness with the universe, just notice the sounds that are being played here. Very, very gently become more aware of your body. So we will end the session here. Just try and be more rooted in awareness and give everyone the gift of awareness. Attention is important. Whatever we achieve in this world comes through attention. And when we are fully focused, that is also a samadhi, that is sampragyat samadhi, where there is an object and you are completely focused on the object. So you know everything about it. But going beyond, because sometimes our focus is very strong on worldly things, and many desires and entanglements are there. So it is important to go beyond the object. And that is when attention dissolves into awareness. So practice awareness. So attention is great. It is attention that helps us achieve everything in this world. But the attention is being directed or being helped by awareness. If there is no awareness, there is no attention. So we can make this effort to traverse the distance between attention and awareness. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll meet again tomorrow. Namaskar.